All right, what's up, y'all, and welcome to another edition of Teaching Tuesday. This is going to be kind of a continuation of last week's video. Last week we talked about cadenzas and some kind of more rubato style endings that are kind of fitting over ballads and not exclusively ballads, but definitely will come in use then. So just to recap from last week, we talked about doing little runs on the last two chords, and then we did this ending, which sounds like this. It's kind of like a chromatic run down from A flat, which is the 4 chord. In this instance, we're in the key of E flat. So now we're going to talk about kind of a similar ending, kind of a variation on that, something that I got from the great Kenny Burrell. I think the track is Sleeping B, but I am altering it a little bit. So it kind of starts on beat 2, and it sounds like this. So again, we are rubato, so there's no real beats going on, but that's kind of how I'm hearing it in my head. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so let's dissect what's going on there. So we're keeping our E flat, which is the root, on the top, the melody note, right? And then underneath it, we just have straight triads, like a little bit of an inversion here. So we have like root, 5th, 3rd in the key of G flat. So that's G flat, D flat, B flat. And then, we keep that E flat on the top. So we just kind of move the lower voices down chromatically. So G flat triad, F triad, E triad. But of course we have the E flat on the top the whole time, so that's what makes it interesting. So then it makes this a G flat 6, F7, E major 7. And then we're going up to the 9th for the resolution. So it's like da 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 dee. Again, it's really important to think about like melodically what's happening. Where's the melody? Especially when you're doing chords, it's easy to lose sight of that, especially as a guitar player. But yeah, that's really important. And then we're ending on this kind of E flat open voicing, which I talked about last week, and also in the open voicings tutorial if you haven't seen that. So okay, cool. So now we are going to take this concept and vary it to a whole nother degree. We're basically gonna move the melody up an octave, but in doing so, we're gonna have some different kind of variations, some different sounds. So this is kind of like the basic outline of what we're gonna get into. This is what it sounds like. All right, so let's get into that. So again, we have the E flat on the top, and we're starting from the 4, but in this case, we're actually gonna start from the minor 4, and these are like kind of loose chords. They're not like real chords they're a little bit unconventional, we'll just say that. So we have like an A flat minor 11. It's kind of this like all 4th barring sort of thing. So you have A flat, D flat, G flat, B, and E flat. So it's just, kind of this big bar chord. Then again, we're gonna move all the voices down except for the top note. So this is something I talked about in the like modal or pentatonic comping video, something like that. But yeah, it's a very cool trick you can do. So it's kind of a similar concept to what we're doing the octave below, but it's we're using 4ths now and we're higher up, so it's a little bit of a different sound. So we have this A flat minor, and then this is like, it's a tricky chord to like categorize, but we basically move all the voicings down except for the top voice. So then we have like a, G minor flat 6, or you can think of it as an E flat 6-9 with a G in the bass, whatever. And then we move everything down again another half step, and that's the real cool chord, because that's like much more unconventional. So that's kind of like a G flat minor 13. I think that's, a proper way to call it. Again, we're just moving every voice down except for the E flat. So if you're not following, you can just like kind of logically do that on your own. Every voice is moving down chromatically 1/2 step. And then we do that again. And then you have like an F minor 11 sort of thing. And then this is like an E13. So we have just our kind of like a standard funk chord, right, on our E13 there. And then we're in a key where we can play the open string. We can play the low root there, so you can't always do that. So we're lucky. And then instead of, I think like the typical, the expected sound would be to resolve to B flat, the 5th, but I think it's kind of like a little bit of a hip thing to go another 1/2 step down. So down to the sharp 11. And when we do that, there's, we could use a few different voicings. I really like this voicing. I think I got it from Barney Kessel, but I'm not really sure. So it is, you probably know this voicing. This is actually pretty conventional. So it's just kind of like an E flat 6/9, but with the sharp 11, right? But it's really adds another level of thickness if you can get the 5th on the bottom. So that's the B flat. Really, it's pretty hard to play actually, so it's a little bit of a Hail Mary, but I like that voicing a lot. I'll just outline it. So it's just B flat, E flat, G, C, F, and A. Cool. All right, and so then we're gonna elaborate. We're gonna kind of like elaborate on that ending, and we're gonna add a couple different harmonies in there. So we're gonna do the same start to that. This is we're gonna go, but then instead of just going straight to the 5/1, we're gonna do this kind of Ladybird turnaround or a Coltrane thing, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna go. Well, I'll just play it first. So we go. Okay, so we have the same first few chords. So we have A flat, G, G flat, F. Then instead of going straight to the 5, we're gonna do this chord. So it kind of looks like an E major 13 sharp 11, but I'm thinking of it as actually a G flat 13. Okay, so basically the progression I'm thinking here is, one that we've probably gone over. It's like F minor, G flat 7, B major 7, and then E7. So it's kind of that Ladybird, not exactly Ladybird, but the little alternate kind of substitution turnaround. Okay, so this is kind of functioning as our G flat 13, right? And then we go from here to here. So that's our, B major 7, B 6/9 major 7, whatever you want to call it. And then to our E 13. And we have nice voice leading during this, or nice like a melody note going on this whole time. So we have 1. It's nice, right? Cool. You know what? I think I'm going to leave it there because we're running up against the clock here. But I do have, I could go on for days. I have many more endings that I'd like to show you, many more variations, but we'll just, we'll keep it there for now. And I think I'll probably expand on that next week. I think you have enough to chew on. So It's a little bit of an advanced lesson. As always, you can find the PDF format of this on the Patreon, or you can try and slow it down. I would recommend, if you can, just like do it visually and audio wise, it's great. But yeah, we do have the PDFs on the Patreon. We got all of these lessons written out. That'll be linked below. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for tuning in to another Teaching Tuesday, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday.